Hey everybody, welcome back to Line with Heart. Today we are just getting out of the house, just having a walk around, back to nature. Everybody probably knows that the world is kind of burning right now, and so just getting out and getting about is what I do to deal with that, rather than being at home watching the socials, watching the videos of everything that's going on. Just seems to make everything that little bit more worse and real, but it's not particularly what I wanted to speak to you about today. So the sun decided to come out a little bit, so I needed to take the jacket off, and then I come to this and need to concentrate. So what I actually wanted to talk to you about today was, I suppose, presence and compassion. We're all guilty of not listening to people and dismissing what it is that they are saying to us. Myself included, but it's something that I'm working hard on. I feel that my sort of moral compass seems to spin out of control when I'm not listening to people, or I haven't done everything in my power to help somebody. And as I've dealt with suicide personally, within my friends, family, and there's nothing worse than questioning whether somebody asked for help, you ignored them, because it wasn't an outright I need help. If I don't get help, this is what is going to happen. And so that's sort of what I wanted to speak to you about, because if you are being compassionate and if you are being present with the people that are in your life, or strangers, then you'll never need to question whether you could have done something. And I know there's probably people saying, well, they need to be stronger, it's coward's way out, blah blah blah. Yeah, we've heard the stories. Doesn't change the outcome for the people that are left here, or for the people that are actually thinking of that way, because no matter how you think now, if you've never been affected by it, you could be thinking that's that coward's way out, I would never do that, no one I know would ever do that. Hopefully that is correct, hopefully that's true, you never have to go through it, but for the people that are left here, you question it all day, all night, and you know, it's not fun. You go over every single conversation that you've ever had with that person, or every interaction, or maybe you've had one of your friends call up and say, I've just had this conversation with X, this is what they said, chat a load of crap, and maybe that conversation replays, and you're going, well, why didn't I pick up the phone? Why didn't that other person realise that that was a cry for help? I would have realised it was a cry for help. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't, but it's just these things that go through your head. And since experiencing these things within my life, I've taken suicide awareness training, just to listen out for those clue marks, listen to what they're saying, and for anybody that is either feeling that way, or thinks that they know somebody who may be feeling that way, you have to be direct. You have to ask them, and not in a sarcastic, humorous, you're not thinking of doing something stupid kind of way, but are you thinking of committing suicide? Are you thinking about hurting yourself? Because making it real makes it real. Being direct, making them open up, and just, it gives them a way in, because there's nothing worse, I suppose, than being that person that's feeling that way and then almost being dismissed, being belittled, into thinking that you're being stupid, or you're just making a fuss, and trying to get attention, and so you have to be direct. You have to, stop what you're doing, put down the phone, turn away from the TV, turn it off if you need to, and be direct, and be calm, listen to what they're saying. Is it something you can help with? If it's not something you can help with, where can you go? If you don't know yet, are you willing just to do a quick internet search? Zero Suicide is a great organisation that help with this thing, and I think the reason I'm talking about it now is that the world is hurting, and whether that be from Corona or whether that be from the police riots going on right now, people are hurting, so things are going to get desperate. They are going to get worse before they get better, and so just listen out. Just don't take a conversation for granted. Put down the phone, listen, look in people's eyes, look at their mannerisms. Are they okay? Really okay? And if you think they're not, spend a little bit more time with them. Give them another call, and try not to fall over while you're walking. Just take that time to put your soul at ease too, because if, God forbid, if anything was to happen, how would you feel? How would you feel that you ignored them, you dismissed them, you told them to get over it? Because trust me, it's gotta feel bad, man. I can honestly say with myself, with the way I am with people, I tend to be that shoulder, that ear to listen to. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm kind of like a big cuddly teddy bear, and so people feel safe, maybe, but and don't get me wrong, sometimes it can be tiring, because their issues do overtake yours sometimes, and you want to help, find ways, and it can really get into your head. But if I wasn't that person, what if they didn't have somebody else to go to? What if they didn't know where to turn, or didn't just feel comfortable speaking to somebody, and just putting out those vulnerabilities? And that's what it is. It's a vulnerability. If someone is coming to you with vulnerability, you've got to listen. You've got to make sure that they don't feel like a burden to you, to their friends, their family. I've had somebody tell me that they've found somebody in a car in the middle of nowhere. It was on their private property, but it was quite remote. And I spoke to them and said, are you okay? What's going on? Can I help? And it was very much that same stuff that we hear every day. I broke up with my girlfriend. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to move forward. And this person stayed with them. They spoke to them. They discussed it, and the conversation is probably the same. That person isn't worth it. They're not. They're never going to be worth it if this is what they're driving you to. That person might have got that with their girlfriend and lived happily ever after. But they were directly asked, did you come here to do something to yourself? Did you come here to kill yourself, to end it? The answer was, I don't know, which is fine, because I suppose sometimes when you get to that point where you don't know what to do anymore, it is a don't know. But by being present, by being compassionate and listening to what they had to say, that person then turned their car around. They drove back to the entrance, and this person that was sat in the car, gave my person a business card and said, anything you need, call me. Thank you, I feel much better. And off they went. And just from that small, brief interaction with a stranger, has the potential to save someone's life. For some compassion and some patience, and just being in the moment, being present, listening to what they're saying, potentially save someone's life. So, is it really going to hurt if you don't view the next 20 Instagram posts that you're about to look at, and just put down the phone and speak to your friends, speak to your mum, your dad, brother, sister, partner? It's really not. They're going to be there. I'm sure you're not really missing much, and you will find the time later to do that. So what I'm asking in these times of absolute uncertainty is to listen. I know you see it a lot at the moment in people's posts to say, we're here, we're listening, and stuff, but this is a general day-to-day basis of everybody around you. They say there's various degrees of separation between everybody in the world, and I kind of sort of believe that. Somebody knows somebody of somebody of somebody, and you can't get away from it. So just think, if you're not talking to the people that are around you, and that person then speaks to somebody else who is a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, wouldn't you much rather be that person, rather than having to have them go and speak to, you know, 5 separations away, 5 degrees of separation. They're speaking to someone completely different because you wasn't there. What if in 5 years you find out that the person that you just met saved your brother's life or your sister's life because they got to that point, because you were more interested in whatever it is that you do, sometimes it's not the most important thing in the world. Time is ticking all the time, and so it's not going to keep going, and so you may think, oh, it's okay, I'm just going to go and play football or basketball, or I'm just going to go to the bar, a couple of drinks, go get my nails done, whatever it is. But in that half an hour, you could have changed someone's life, you could have saved someone's life, because you'd get round to it, you'd go back to that point, and it just doesn't always work that way. And that is the truth. You think you have more time, and you don't always have more time. And so for that small amount of compassion and just being present with the world, you could save a life. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you spend a couple of hours maybe going for a coffee with somebody you may barely even know? Maybe it's a colleague from work who you've noticed is just being a little bit different, not acting the same, and normally maybe bubbly, or at least polite, but they're being sharp and maybe a little bit brutal with their words and their responses, and maybe now just getting a coffee, just listening to what it is that they've got to say. Put your phone down, turn it around, put it face down so that you can't see the notifications, so you can't see the messages coming through. I'm a firm believer that if it was important, they'd be calling. If it was an actual emergency, because if somebody texts me and says my house is burnt down, call me. You're not going to do that. So if it's important, they're going to call you. You can check at that point, you can apologise. Maybe you've got to take the call, but just take an hour, go for a coffee, or maybe just go for your break, for your allocated break at work, go for a coffee, get some fresh air, maybe just walk down the road with that person, just talk to them and just find out what's going on. And no matter what it is that they tell you, even if you don't understand the problem, just take a breath, listen to what they've got to say, process what they're saying, and if you don't know about it, tell them you don't understand that, you don't have any experience with it, but you're willing to listen. Let them talk it out, because that's half of the problem, is that people aren't given the opportunity to be vulnerable, to open up, and just let it out. You try and talk to somebody and their opinion is formed within 1.5 seconds flat, and that's it, they're on you. And while you're trying to process by talking through, you don't get a chance to do that, because that other person's opinion is kind of being forced down your throat. So if you've got someone who's speaking to you and you feel that maybe there's more going on, just just take a breath, just listen, process what they're saying, wait for that break. So when they're talking to you, just wait for that break. There'll be a natural break. Almost like they've got to that point where they've realised that they've just spilled their guts to you, and now they're afraid. So they've gone from vulnerable, they're now afraid. They can't put it back in, and they're scared. So just telling them that, it's okay, that's fine. How did you get to this point, maybe? What do you want to do going forward? Some of them may have just spilled the guts about everything that's going on, but they might not have told you how they actually feel. Are they scared? Are they worried? Are they excited? Because not every problem is so much a problem as it is something maybe about to change, and worried about other people's reactions. Maybe someone just got accepted to college, university, and they've got to move a very long way away, but they haven't told the parents yet, or their boyfriend, girlfriend, etc. So not every problem is going to be sadness, and that uncomfortableness that you feel when someone's being vulnerable with you, and that goes away also if you get used to being that person. It does go away, even with strangers. So yeah, just listen to people. So everything that's going on in the world right now, I do think that listen is probably one of the most important things. Listen, because if you're listening, you're being present, and if you're listening and actually listening to what they've got to say, compassion will build, compassion will grow, and that is something that every person should be. I think it was ingrained in us from the early days, from the day dot. I do think that was already there. So hopefully this was all coherent, and you can understand my thought process. But please do let me know if you understand where I'm coming from. Do you think like this? Comment below, and like and subscribe if you can. Thank you.